Hey everyone, today I wanted to show you my single GPU QEMU slash VFIO setup, uh, which is aimed for mm, game development and entertainment like gaming, and I use it personally as a daily driver. In short, what is VFIO? VFIO is a framework which allows you to pass through some devices from your, let's say, your GPU, your USB devices, your hard drives into virtual machine. And this way, you basically just have like a separate uh, s- client system which works basically as native or almost as native. So, a quick intro on my setup. I'm using an Arch Linux based system, Arch Linux on kernel 5.18. My CPU is Ryzen 9 3900X, and my I have one GPU, NVIDIA RTX 2070 Super, and 32 gigabytes of RAM memory. So yeah, basic, basically, what is my current workflow? I'm able to use both Unreal Engine on Linux and both also on Windows virtual machine. The reason why I made it this way is that, well, although Unreal Engine is available on Linux, but there are still some engine related problems here and there. Um, some media plugins basically won't work on Linux because they depend on Windows libraries. And additionally, occasionally I also work on VR front, and the only VR device I have is Oculus Quest, and Oculus doesn't provide any drivers on Linux. So basically, everything. Although I can make Android builds for Oculus and run the projects inside the Oculus as a standalone packages, um, I cannot use Oculus as a desktop VR. I cannot actually create projects for desktop VR on Oculus, but I can do this on Windows Virtual Machine. So, quick run through on the setup. On Linux, I have Unreal Engine 5.0.2, which is a uh, Docker version of the engine. It has basically the difference between the source, compiling from source from Git, and pulling the Docker image. Basically, the Docker image comes with the precompiled binaries, and yeah, and you can basically just install it and run it without any additional compiling wait. I also have like installed Euro Starter and City Sample. Although City Sample has a kind of low performance on Linux, probably due to Vulkan, uh, I can actually still run the project. But as as far as I can tell, I cannot actually run the game to play within the editor. So, a quick showcase. Yes, I can run the project. I can go, for example, on big city or small city map. Let's start with small city because it's faster. And boom, we are in Matrix, but the performance is actually very low. Like I'm getting maximum 25 frames per second, and if I press play, it's just gonna hang and crash. So I'm not just gonna use it. Instead, I'm gonna show like Lyra started game, which works actually fine. Well, as you can see, I can play it. The frame rate, of course, is a little bit unstable. I'm getting like maximum 50 frames instead of like stable 60 more. Oh, yeah, I'm bad at this game. So yeah, as you can see, well, although actually the engine is present on Linux, there are some problems with the editor, and well, if you're actually engine savvy person, probably you can figure this out and do it yourself. But in general, as you can see, this is not like a plug and play experience. You still have to have some issues here and there. Now, to talk about like my VM setup, this is a Windows 10 virtual machine, and I already installed uh, a hook script which hooks my GPU, and basically when I launch the VM, it automatically disables GPU from the host system, which is Linux, and transfers it in to Windows 10 VM. Additionally, I have like virtual storage where I have this system installed, and a couple of physical storages. Actually, and this also is virtual storage, but this is for the city sample because I didn't have enough memory for on a physical SSD drive. And this is my PCI pass-through GPU, additionally with the audio controller and USB host controllers. So I'm gonna pause the video, and I'm gonna start the VM. Okay, now I switch to my phone to record the process of booting the virtual machine. So here it goes. As you can see, both my monitor got disconnected, and soon there should appear BIOS boot. here it is. Now Windows is booting. I'm gonna pause the video again, and we'll switch to desktop. So, time skipped, and here we are. This is my main Windows 10 VM. Here's a quick system info. Windows 10 Pro, system manufacturer QEMU, my hard drives, and display NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super. So basically, this is like if you have Windows installed on your machine, but it's in on virtual drive, basically. Uh, Here we just have this system installed on virtual partition. These three are my physical drives. This one is this SSD, which I use for games and work, and those two are HDD drives, which just where I store my backup files, media files, and all that kind of stuff. This is also a virtual drive, mainly created for CD sample project because I don't have enough storage on physical SSD. So yeah, let's. Yeah, also I have Steam installed currently with no games, but well, basically, uh, it's there. So let's check how our big boy handles inside VM. We'll probably notice a bit increased performance. This is due to, well, basically the engine itself runs better on Windows because it's mainly made for Windows, and also DirectX API kind of works better with the sample, I guess. Let's load the small map because big city map is just gonna hang a lot and it's not playable on my current setup. We just loaded the map. As you can see, we have like 40, 30 FPS average, which is a bit, which is increased uh, in comparison from running this project in Linux. Let's see how it goes. So here it is. We're able to play Matrix City Sample. Average performance is about like from 20, scaling from 20 to 30 FPS, which is okay considering the circumstances. I can also drive around, although not too fast because I'm gonna probably run out of video memory and probably crash is gonna crash. And it crashed. uh, this is due to like It just when you hit something, the car models transforms from nanite to like physical models, and basically this doesn't work well. And yeah, this is, it is, but it is. But we can test other sample. Let's say Lyra, which this one is installed on my SSD. There it goes. Average FPS is 100 plus minus. Probably in game it's gonna be like about 90 FPS. Even smoother. As you can see, it's about like 60, 70 frames. And still dying. The reason why I'm showcasing all this stuff is just so that you can see the capabilities of such type of VM. Basically, before it was required to have like Windows or any other systems installed on your metal. Right now it's not mandatory. You can use your favorite operating system, which is in my case is Linux Arch based, uh, and still kind of work around some issues which you might meet. Like for example, like in my case, I just need to use Unreal Engine, and of course on Windows it works way better than on Linux, must admit. Although I appreciate that Epic Games is doing some efforts towards Linux, but still it's a longer road. Uh, but we have to live with it somehow. And final showcase I want to show is how VR behaves. Oh, wait. I'm probably gonna just restart this because I need to enable also my Oculus. Oh, settings. Yes. And let's hit play in VR review. As you can see, It's a full VR experience. And it works perfectly, especially for my needs. That's absolutely awesome. This is again remaining Oculus Quest, uh, and it runs inside the VM desktop VR through USB cable. So that's it. Now I'm gonna switch to my phone again and show how it actually it goes back to Linux. Be right back. And here it goes. Let's shut down the system. Basically, shut off, and you'll see how it actually seamlessly goes, transitions from Windows client to back to Linux host. Here it is. Back to Arch Linux. So yeah, this is my setup. Of course, uh, there are ways to improve. This is by, like, for example, adding second GPU and dedicated second GPU to a VM and using the main GPU only for the host, so you can use both systems, host and client, simultaneously. And of course, well, running your projects on NVMe M2 drives instead of standard SSDs or virtualized volumes. So yeah, what else to add? Well, I guess, well, this also will reassure some people who wanted to try to switch to Linux, but they were afraid that they'll have to do some trade-offs, like for example losing some software availability. Well, in this case, well, you have this option. Not necessarily with the GPU pass-through, you can just use VMware, for example. It's basically a plug-and-play experience. But if you require your GPU and have a native performance, yeah, this is also doable with either one GPU or two GPUs. Take your pick. So yeah, I'm gonna also leave a link in the description, which will lead to a guide which I followed to create the setup. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you. Bye.